All right, guys, welcome back to the fresh. Wait, where the Melvin, bro? Where you at, bro?
Oh, my fault. I had to get some of the fresh squeeze. Hold on. Where were we at?
I was just welcoming everybody back to the fresh
Some strong squeeze. Squeeze.
podcast. And hey, guys, you guys have been doing really well on the channel. You know, I appreciate all the support. You've been showing love at film school, getting your work in during quarantine. You know, you might have noticed if you went back, if you loyal, you would have noticed that the channel went through a little bit of a makeover. You know,
Yeah.
went through and edited some of the thumbnails and the titles. You know what I'm saying? If you loyal, you peeped. You peeped. So if you peeped, comment I peeped down in the comment section after you liked. And if you're not subscribed, I don't even know what you're doing. I don't even know what you're doing because you just got the squeeze and you're not fresh right now. So hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you can become fresh, because that's the whole point of this. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to be dusty. We want to be fresh. Squeeze is only us if it's fresh. So we're gonna get right back in. We're gonna get right into the topic. You know, we played around with y'all enough. The topic today is inspiration. All right. So, you know, I know what y'all are expecting. We're gonna talk about, man. You know, I'm really inspired by Dirk. Dirk Nowitzki, my favorite player of all time. You know, this guy right here inspires me. So inspirational. And you know, like I watch this guy right here play. Can't watch him anymore because he's retired. But you know, I see that Nowitzki on the back, you know, fading on dudes, and I just, you know, I'm like, I'm gonna go outside and play some basketball or go to a gym, you know, when those are back open, and play some basketball. But everybody does that, man. Every basketball player does that. You know what I'm saying? What are you learning from that? Everybody already does that. If you don't do that, then you're not really serious about basketball anyways. Because, I mean, even if you don't play basketball, you watch an NBA game and you want to go outside and dunk on your 7-foot hoop. I mean, that's just human nature. It's human nature. So, dang, Dirk falling like D Wade.
We made about 3 episodes. I'm surprised nobody commented that already.
It's crazy, man. Dudes, they'll get to it, man. They'll get to it. You know, they're a little slow. They're a little slow on the comments. You know what I mean? But shoot, I mean, I might start tossing some Einfach hoodies to people's way. You know what I'm saying? If they start impressing me in these comment sections, but I can't do that if there are no comments. I'm just saying. But man, all right, so like we all know the basic stuff, like, okay, yeah, you know, basketball players inspire me to play basketball. But like, what are some like unconventional ways you've been inspired to, like, you know, further your game? While I go Dirk.
Oh man, like, well, kind of before you even go into it, kind of like you already said, you know, D Wade. All right, bro. D Wade is my guy. You know, D Wade, Kobe, and Jordan are, you know, the typical guys as far as basketball players that I look at. But
You don't like Glenn Robinson?
I don't like who.
Glenn Robinson?
I don't watch too much of him. Oh no.
Big Glenn, man, big dog, big dog. He got you done for 13. You like 13?
I just don't watch too much of him.
Atlanta, man, we close to Atlanta. 13, Atlanta. Glenn.
I might have to check him out.
Didn't this guy go to? His son went to Michigan too. You used to like Michigan back in the day.
I know.
Man,
I know.
Glenn some love, man.
No, but you know, that's the, you know, kind of traditional basketball answer. But I'd say, you know, like I said, in a couple of videos back ago, actually, I find a lot of inspiration from solving puzzles and just kind of solving problems. For me, like I said, you know, when I was little, I had the Scooby Doo puzzle, and I was just able to put it together and put it back together. So that helps me on the court a lot because I'm able to just kind of solve find the different answers to different problems that we got. So to give you an example, like if we keep turning the ball over and trying to run the same play, you got to figure out what wrinkle in that play is not working and what you got to do to fix it. So me having that, kind of problem solving mindset really helps me. Also, I like to play, different games that help, your brain. So I play, what's the game called? Sudoku. Yeah, I play that a lot to kind of solve all these kind of numbers and all that kind of stuff. And I also watch a lot of TV. That helps me a lot. I watch numbers. I like to watch Criminal Minds a lot. So all you guys binge watching stuff, watch Criminal Minds. I like to see, kind of how these different cases and stories wind up and how the investigators solve the problems and figure out who it is. Obviously, it's TV, so it's not necessarily how it goes down, but it's a pretty close depiction of it. So, I mean, if stuff like that can help me on the court, then I think you guys for sure should take a look at your creative sides and just really, tune into your mind and see what your brain can do. I mean, I think me and Ant probably view the game similarly, but our minds still work differently in the way he views it, and he'll talk about that. So yeah, like I said, so what are some ways that you kind of find inspiration and find creativity?
Well, I mean, I think it starts off, you see, I'm wearing this hoodie. I wear a lot of NASA stuff. If you see me in person, there's probably, I mean, nowadays I rotate like between three things. It's, Einfach, of course, link in the description. Code squeeze, 10% off, you know, just saying. Uh, some NBA stuff like you got right there.
Oh, yeah.
Or, it's some NASA gear, man. It's some NASA gear, and it's not because I'm a hype beast and it's popular. In fact, that would be the one thing that would make me not wear it. But I'm a big guy who's into space. Any of the OGs who went to elementary school with me, they know big time into space. And through space, I actually got into mythology, both Greek and Roman mythology. And because in case y'all don't know, the planets are named after the Roman gods. So I was like, okay, where are these names coming from? So I started off like, oh man, like this is crazy, like Neptune and Pluto and all these different planets, and watching, seeing like how they're constructed, and I could tell you, what gases actually compose these planets, and I was just really fascinated by it. Uh, and that led into mythology, which in a lot of ways sparked my love for storytelling, because I'm reading these different myths with the different gods and goddesses. I'm like, wow, this is really interesting, and it kind of got my brain tuned to these stories with people who are, I mean they're gods, but like human like figures with like extraordinary powers, you know what I'm saying? And so from there, of course, I got into Percy Jackson, which is a book series based on demigods, and so it kind of went down, so these big celestial bodies, and then gods and goddesses, and now demigods. And so I feel like that chain, I'm like, okay, in some way it leads down to me. And so the demigods are obviously connected to the gods and goddesses because they're the children of those gods and goddesses. And the gods and goddesses are connected to the celestial bodies by name. So I'm like, okay, how can I, connect what I'm doing as somebody who loves basketball really over anything to what they're doing? And so, sometimes I kind of just visualize myself with like extraordinary powers playing basketball. And it's just kind of a way to have fun with visualizing and a way to get my confidence really through the roof because I mean I'm just kind of breaking the barriers of what's physically possible. So when I do something unexpected in the game, then I'm like, okay, that's probably come from me visualizing that type of stuff. But the main reason I kind of do it is to just have fun with it and keep things fresh.
Mhm. Yeah, man, I think that's actually pretty interesting. Now that you kind of say it, it makes me think to some stuff that kind of draws me in, some more stuff that kind of draws me into the creative aspect going into hooping as well. I mean, there's a lot of I'd say anime culture has a lot of influence on me. I don't know about you. You could probably elaborate on that, but I know that there's actually a show. I'm blanking on the name right now, but there's actually a show that talks about like guys that just go around playing basketball and they have superpowers within basketball and they enter like a flow state. I don't think it's actually called that, but that's what
Go no basket.
yeah, yeah. I caught a couple episodes of that. And really, like, it makes me think, like, if I can just go into that mode when I'm playing, this is the mode in the zone that everybody's talking about. Like, when you get hot, or you just super locked into the game. That's exactly what that is. So I think that's pretty cool how, like, I can see it on TV and it helps me actually, go out there and play. Uh, but yeah, that's really cool to me. What are some things that you like?
Man, what I really love about anime is like they're always faced with insurmountable odds.
Mm,
Always, like every episode, there's gonna be some enemy that just seems unbeatable, and the characters and the good shows, find a way that makes sense to outwit that person trying to, kill them most of the time. And so that's what, it expands my mind when I'm solving problems. So,
mm,
another thing, and it kind of ties into what I'm saying in film school, when we're on the court, we see one thing, right? But
mm.
like in actuality, it's like, wow, there were a lot of options here. So, you know, a lot of the times you're able to make possibilities because they're actually there. You just don't see them, you know? So you just have to trust yourself, like, okay, I have the ability to do this and, kind of take that risk. And 9 times out of 10, something good comes out of it. But if you kind of just surrender, I mean, you're not gonna make any progress in what you're doing. And so that's what those shows, uh, like Seven Deadly Sins and Hunter x Hunter, it's spelled Hunter X Hunter, but supposedly it's called Hunter x Hunter. I call it Hunter X Hunter. But they're always faced with insurmountable odds and find a way to overcome it. And the really great thing about Hunter X Hunter is a lot of the times they lose, you know what I'm saying? Like the main characters get dogged,
Get dealt with.
really get dogged. And that, for me, I just love it because like, okay, now you have something to, really overcome. So now like, okay, now like my arm is broken and I have to, still find a way back to where I was and then some. So it's not just like, oh, okay, I get a random power boost and boom, everything was great. But like they're actually using their mind to like, find a solution to the problem. And it inspires me to, do that same thing in my world and what I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure, man. That inspiration is like really huge now that I'm thinking about it, in the entertainment culture. Like we said before in one of the earlier episodes, basketball and entertainment, whether be on screen or wherever in the play or whatever, it really go hand in hand. It's like here and here, and they're really perfectly meshed together. You can take a lot from both sides of it, I think. Um, another thing I've actually kind of took away of it is just the way the world is. Uh, Seeing the world every day kind of inspires me because I see these shows and there's some characters that have powers to just understand. In the shows we're talking about, like Hunter, there's a character that's able to just kind of not necessarily predict everything, but he just has like a sense, like a sixth sense to him. And in the world, like you go outside, if you just pay attention and listen, you just get in tune. You realize like how much everything's in sync. Like you look up, you see the sun. Then you realize at nighttime it switches out with the moon. You know what I'm saying? Everything's perfectly in sync. You see cars going. Without that, there's all these things, holding it together. Gravity's holding the car on the ground. The car's got specific things to keep it on the road. You're walking, everything, your body, from like your legs and all your tendons and stuff, everything's in sync. So on the court, that makes me think, all right, well, everything has a rhyme and a reason to it. You know what I'm saying? Just like everything else in life. So whether like you're dribbling, you got to find your own rhythm, and you got to put your body in a certain position to go this way, and then to come back this way, and you got to know that, and it's all like in a rhythm by itself. I think that's really cool. Like I just think it's really cool how everything finds a way to correlate itself in these two aspects.
Yeah, that's really like the main motivation, at least I had for this series and this podcast, because you know we do view this game through a particular lens, because we've kind of delved into this other world of creativity, and so it's obviously going to alter our perspective. So just one example from this past season, I was watching Avatar: The Last Airbender
Oh yeah.
as kind of to study for my book, and to take some notes on it, and just kind of see how they structured it, because for me it's one of the best written shows, cartoon, non-cartoon, ever. So I was just taking some notes, and I was so inspired by it, not only to write my book, but like as a basketball player. The Avatar, for those of you who don't know, is the master of all elements. And so it inspired me. Like, I'm not gonna give myself the nickname, the Avatar, but for me, I was like, that's something that's, even if it doesn't catch on, and like, I don't care if announcers are calling me the Avatar, that's completely irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's just like, okay, if I believe I'm the Avatar and I'm the master of all elements, that helps me in my game. So like, for me, the elements are the different skills, shooting, dribbling, playmaking, defense, and athleticism, finishing, stuff like that. So it helped me break it down as like, okay, like we talked about a few episodes back, creating different characters that you're playing as, and creating storylines, going into games. So it spices the game up for me. It keeps it fresh. I even have a custom pair of Avatar shoes. Uh, I mean, it's just fun. It's just fun. Like, I feel like you have creative license with this game to do whatever you want to do. And why wouldn't you? Because you have a limited time of being able to play this game. So have as much fun with it as you can. And I think that's the main thing about inspiration. That's what, like, if you ever get to a point where you're not having fun, find some inspiration, find a way to, think about the game from a new perspective, because 9 times out of 10, you didn't lose love for the game. It just became stale because you were doing the same thing over and over again.
Right. Man, these guys probably think we're crazy or something like that. We got a lot of stuff in our heads, man. But we're gonna take a little break right quick. I gotta get some more fresh squeeze. So we'll get back to you after this.
Time to write your story. Time to let your imagination go. Where do you want to live? What car do you want to drive? What places do you want to see? It's all up to you now. It's your story to write. Leave the story of your past behind and write a new one. And be ready to live what you write, because this story will be like no other. But it will share one thing with all of their stories. This story will start with a hero. And that hero is you.
Oh, what's up, everybody? You guys are still here. Welcome back to the Fresh.
Squeeze.
There you go. Podcast. That's all we got for today. If you wanted some more, you got to come back tomorrow with another episode for you guys. Stay tuned with us.
Or we got some juicy links down in the description. Check those out. If you just can't get enough of that fresh squeeze, drink up. It's down in the description. I don't know what you're waiting on. This video is over. We out.